Really attracted me to South Simcoe is it had everything that big services had. You know, when people talk about a small or mid-sized service, often they're lacking in a few things, but South Simcoe had all the things that a bigger service had, just on a smaller scale. You know, they had the Marine unit, they had an investigative team, they had an intelligence unit, they had a traffic unit. So again, all the things that I was interested in and being involved in policing, South Simcoe had.
On Lake Simcoe, 2 officers on board until about 1900 hours this evening.
It's a simple matter of economics. The 2 small services struggling with budgets, it was just obvious that combining the 2 larger presence, more buying power.
Well, I think when we first started, we had something like 60 officers, and now we think we got 120 officers or staff altogether. Or maybe even more, I don't know, I've lost track of it, but of course the population has almost doubled too in the last 20 years here in town. When I first came to Bradford, there was something like 1,200 people live in town. You know, we had 3 police officers, but things progress and they get bigger.
And I opened up the first Scenes of Crime Lab in Bradford. And we had it till we amalgamated. I guess we had it for about 2 years. And the person I worked mostly with that was my dear friend Max Brown. And him and I used to crack a lot of cases with his investigation prowess, which he was a great investigator, and with my forensic knowledge, because I love science, and this was an applied science. So between the 2 of us, we broke a lot of cases.
So when we amalgamated with Innisfil, I believe it was Inspector Tom McDonald was in charge of which was the former Innisfil Police CIB unit. We now had the South Simcoe, and Tom headed that up, and I think there was 4 or 5 full-time members that wore suits, plain clothes as well, and did specifically criminal investigations. So that in itself really spoke volumes to what the potential was for the amalgamation of the 2 police services.
There's a big difference between policing in an area like Innisfil, Bradford, than Toronto. In this area, whenever you grab onto an investigation or take hold of an investigation, you carry it through to its conclusion. And in Toronto, what happens usually is you bring a prisoner into the office and it gets handed over to the detectives, and that's, you make up your notes and you're back on the road to answer the next call. So here it gave you more of a hands-on, and you saw investigations through to their conclusion.
Started in 1991. Innisfil was just starting to put the records on computer. Everything was in drawer. I mean, they still kept the paper trail afterwards, but that was all there was at first. That was quite a change.
When I started with Innisfil Police, there was no voicemail, there was no computers. You know, your messages was a Post-it note that would, you would get into your mailbox type thing. And like leaps and bounds, we have the computers in the cars now. Everything is computerized now. So it's, from one extreme to the other. And we're just continuing forward with that. With the last few years with South Simcoe Police, our technology has gone leaps and bounds over what we've had in the past. Our Criminal Investigations Bureau is almost twice the size of it was before type thing. Our Criminal Investigations Bureau, I don't know if you remember, was a portable in the back parking lot here of the North Division Station. So to this, nice facility that we have down the Bradford Station, we have our emergency response unit that I was a part of.
Let's do this! Come on!
Quite a while ago, one of the officers came to me and said, we should really have a canine unit here. And I said, okay, great, let's go and let's see what we can do.
We really had some fantastic community involvement. Frank, at the time, the mayor in Bradford, Frank Jonkman, helped us with fundraising.
So I had one of my golf tournaments there, and we raised sufficient funds to obtain a canine unit. We had a very good dog. Actually, the first dog we got was Samson, and he was about the 5th or the 6th best in North America in the trials that we had.
When we first got together, he was what they call a green dog, so he had no formal training at all. And together we bonded right away. I hand fed him, and together we went on the course, and we just learned together. Actually, it was my first dog.
And these dogs, they could trace somebody 5 kilometers through the bush. It's amazing.
We were able to win the All-Ontario Provincial Police Dog Championship in 2001 in Chatham. So that was very rewarding.